I recently viewed this TV show, which also happens to be one of the top 10 documentaries trending on Netflix India. This video is an inspiration from the TV show The Indian Matchmaking by the host and the matchmaker Seema Taparia. Hi, my name is Deepa Kaur and I'm a body language coach. And in this video, I'm going to decode those subtle signs and signals of dating. I have decoded the potential candidates who reach out to Seema for a life partner. And she shares with them the very first point of contact, that is their biodata, which includes most of the information. I have decoded them right from their first impressions to their level of perceptiveness, to the way they show subtle signs and cues of nervousness, trust, and deception. So whether or not you're going to believe them, or are you going to reject them? So there are 5 main characters in the TV show. We have to start from Aparna. We have Pradyuman. There is Nadia, Vyasar, and last but not the least, Akshay. So let's get started with the very first candidate as the TV series starts with her, Aparna. So before we go ahead and decode the body language and the non-verbal cues of Aparna, let's just first understand what these non-verbal signals and cues really mean. Now there are 7 universal facial expressions. When I say universal meaning, they are universal everywhere. So for example, a facial expression of happiness is smile. Someone being sad, angry. So they are universal, and these facial expressions are brief, involuntary facial muscle movement. That means it is not in our control, and they express our most innate, most inner feelings through our facial expression. They are also called as micro expressions. They were found and decoded by Dr. Paul Ekman. Next, there are certain more nervous or comforting or the self-soothing gestures that we end up doing. So let's start and understanding what are these body language cues. Now the reason why I'm decoding the videos from this Netflix series of the Indian Matchmaking is there are times when we see a reflection in these particular people who come on screen. We associate them with their communication style, we link us with them with their dressing style, or probably the way the other person is taking a decision. That probably this was somewhat like me, let's see what happens and what kind of person he or she end up marrying. Seema has a particular approach and she's pretty standard with that throughout the series, where she offers the biodata, which has all the details of the potential life partner, and one may decide whether or not they want to go ahead for their first date or no. This person whom I'm going to decode next is confident, is bold and beautiful. She can sniff the confidence out of a person. And it's very clear in her strategy and approach that if I don't have anything to learn from you, then it's probably a potential goodbye. In the very first meeting with Seema, Aparna is being given a profile of a potential life match. Now while she is not that very gung-ho, she still go ahead and says yes. That at least let's get started with the process. I don't want to be that negative. And this can be clearly seen in one of the expressions that she gives, which is called as squelching or squelching. It's something like rolling of the tongue in the cheek. People tend to give this kind of expression when they are not sure, confident, and not very gung-ho about what has been offered to them. So in episode 2, Srinivas comes in, and this is a meeting where Srinivas is going in to meet Aparna in her house in the presence of her family, which includes her mum, her sister and brother-in-law. It can get very overwhelming for anyone. So please remember, your first impressions are the most, and make your first 10 words count. Make that presence of first 10 to 15 seconds very charismatic, very confident, which you can see happening very beautifully with a very confident formal greeting, hi, how are you, a very warm eye contact, a smile and a nod. Things settle in, and Aparna and Srinivas are now ready to head to the local place and strike a conversation. Now, Aparna clearly looks tired. Her eyes are a little red. One thing that you can do if you are meeting a date by end of the day after working hours is you of course want to look fresh. You can quickly, just carry or keep a eye drop, which is a moisturizing eye drop that can add instant freshness to your eyes. Now, by end of her meeting with the Srinivas, there comes in a point where Aparna says, yeah, sure, I would love to meet you again, or something like that. She's saying yeah, but she's nodding her head. So this is it. Universally, the understanding of the body gesture, this is yes and this is no. So if I have someone who says yes with a no like this, my verbal does not match with my non-verbal movement, and hence that is a potential deception, a lie. That yeah, sure, but you know what, Aparna in back of her mind is definitely not catching up or agreeing with Srinivas. In episode 3, she meets Dilip. A very interesting conversation happens between them. As I would like to say it, it's okay not to be okay. Now, Aparna is action oriented. So if you see the kind of word she uses, I love to travel, I would like to do this, I would like to do that. She quite likes the outdoors, but she is also very career and decision and authoritative oriented. And here's where the wordings, I believe, went wrong. So, what would you do for relaxing for 10 days? And that instantly guards her up that what is going on so wrong in your life, because of which you need to relax for 10 days. I mean, I'm curious. And looking at her expression of that question, you have Dilip that goes in a tongue in a bite moment. That I don't know what did I ask so wrong, or why is she finding it so difficult to answer me. I think the next best word or the appropriate word to ask the question would have been, so what has been the most exciting, or what would be the most thrilling part if you had to take a vacation? That would have actually started or enhanced the communication, but this was a complete deal breaker for Aparna. And when she's facing off the camera one-on-one, she clearly has, a tongue in a bite moment. That the lip is definitely not the one that I am going ahead with. In episode 4, she meets Shekhar. Now, Aparna has been seen throughout the series till now, till episode 4, that I don't want to get along with an attorney or a lawyer, someone who's of a similar profession. I just don't want them. Well, all I would like to say is, the more you say you don't want them, the more are the chances of it actually happening to you. So watch out there. Now, Shekhar and Aparna meet at a restaurant, right? They are facing each other. Now, looking into the body language, Aparna usually nods her head very less. She has a very controlled movement of her hand because she knows she's very sure of what she's talking. Shekhar, on the other hand, was smiley, was curious, was asking questions, They connected on a lot of common topics. Now, Aparna's confidence can make somebody feel that, you know what, there's lots to learn from her. I can definitely learn a lot from her, which I guess two out of the four boys also say that, well, I'm looking forward as there's lots to learn from her, there's still lots more to explore. Now, Aparna usually, she has her hands underneath the table. As and when the comfort grows, she brings her hands up. Now, here's the point I want to make. If you want to come across as friendly, as trustworthy, keep your hands expressive. There are a lot of cultures across the world where a sign of respect and discipline is seen by keeping the hands underneath the table. But let me tell you one thing. One of the way that any human wants to feel that I am safe in this presence is the visibility of the hands. So please use this as a gesture to communicate that I am open and that I have nothing to hide. So they talk about a lot of common topics. Now Shekhar, secondly, also nods head more than Aparna. That is in agreeing, but there is no stillness, there is no holdback. So while they may get together on a lot of topics, but she wants the attention. And sometimes talking to the other person, where Shekhar does talk to the person who's serving them food, and that's where she felt that, hey, you know what, I am the focus of the attention, and why are you talking to him? You can clearly see the disconnect on her face. Another thing about Aparna is that we can learn. Now, a lot of us, we look at our immediate family members for a perfect example of marriage. We look that, okay, my parents' marriage was so and so, if it worked very good, if it did not, we tend to hold on to those beliefs. Now, what if there is an unsuccessful marriage? I like the Aparna's strategy. Knowing what her family life has been, she actually includes her friends who are being married, and she knows what my next step is going to be and takes the validation from her with regards to her life partner. Last but not the least, I believe in episode 5, Aparna meets Jay. Very friendly, very full of etiquettes, manners, and they get along very well. So the energy levels somewhere, I believe, matches with Jay. She seems to be quite happy. She has opened up to the experience of the matchmaking. Also, one peculiar thing to note about Aparna is that when she is not smiling, she is really looking very, very serious. Something called as a resting bitch face. Now, that's just the term. I'm not calling anyone that word. What is a resting bitch face? So when you clearly are just, it's like make all your facial muscles drop and you look into the camera. That resting face, for some reason, is called as a resting bitch face. One tends to look more serious, rather not that attractive in the resting bitch face look. And we all have that look in us. So try doing this in the mirror. Just leave all your facial muscles and look at yourself, how serious you look. Donning some smile, which she is seen more often doing that on a date with Jay, can help build a better and a warm, open first impressions.